name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to say welcome everybody to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And you guys know how much respect and admiration I have for this man that's on screen. His name is Dr. George C. Fraser. He is the author of the best-selling book "Success Runs in Our Race." He also has founded many entities, and we're going to talk to you about a lot of the things he has going on, including the Power Networking Conference and everything else in between. But before we jump into that, I want to, after I say hello to everybody in the chat, John C. Taylor, I see you in there already. I'd like to ask my friend Dr. Fraser, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Good to see your face and to hear your voice. And I always, every time I see you, and I watch you maybe 3, 4 times a day because of the art and science that you have created and dropping knowledge in less than 2 and 3 minutes. And I love listening to you. I love your knowledge and your wisdom. And it's just good to be sitting in front of you one more time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fraser. That's an honor to hear from you because the feeling is entirely mutual. And I'm going to say hello to our guests, Jashawn and Kevin and Ronnie. And my name is Corey. I see you all coming in, Anita Lewis and Khaled Harleem. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, I just switched out my microphone. Let me know if you can hear me. And also, please shout out the city that you're from so we can see what cities you all are from. And especially if you happen to live near Houston, which is where the Power Networking Conference is going to be. I guess to jump in, every time I talk to you, Dr. Fraser, there's so much wisdom and so many interesting angles you take conversations to, and I don't always know where to start. So I think I'm going to start with some really basic things. So you asked me a rhetorical question. You asked me today, what is the difference between a smart man and a wise man? And I'm not going to answer that because I don't know if I'm wise enough to answer the question as well as you. So I'd like for you to tell us what's the difference between a smart man and a wise man.
A smart man knows exactly what he wants, or a smart woman. A wise man or woman knows exactly what they don't want, right? They've been there, done that, got that t shirt and umbrella, and can make better decisions because of wisdom and experiences and stumbling and falling and failing because you learn far more from failure than you do from success. And if you live old enough to become wise, and some people are wise beyond their years, as you are, Dr. Watkins, you're an old soul. I watch you. You're an old soul, and you're an exception to the rule. But generally speaking, we gain wisdom as we age through the various passages of life. And if you're lucky, you get 8 passages, and each passage is 10 years. So what does that mean? That means that you're a different person at 10 than you were at 1. You're a different person at 20 than 10, let us pray. You're a different person at 30 than 20, 40 than 30, 50 than 40, 60 than 50, 70 than 60, 80 than 70. We're constantly evolving and we are overcoming obstacles, right? My favorite quote outside of the Bible is a quote by Marcus Aurelius, one of the 5 great Caesars. He said this in 110 BC. He said that the impediment to action advances the action. What stands in your way becomes the way. Where there is no obstacle, there is no way. That's really what it means. And so God has designed us so that as He gives us assignments that He feels that we're ready for, and He gives you that assignment, the next thing God does is He puts an obstacle in your way. And your job is to find a way over, around, through, and under the obstacles to trip, fall, stumble, and fail, and to learn the lessons. And when you overcome the obstacles, God gives you an attaboy or an attagirl. And then He gives you your next assignment. This is all metaphorically speaking. He gives you your next assignment at a slightly higher level that He feels that you're ready for. And then what's the next thing God does? He puts an obstacle in your way. And again, your job is to find a way over, around, and through the obstacles. Obstacles is how, and overcoming those obstacles is how, in fact, we gain wisdom. Let me say that a different way. If the mountain was smooth, you couldn't climb it.
Mm,
The same thing with life,
mm,
obstacles. It's a beautiful thing. Don't fear failure. Don't fear stumbling. There's a lesson in everything. There is no failure, there's only lessons. It just depends on how you process it. So that's a mindset. And
mm.
wise people understand that. But it takes time and patience and preparation.
What you say makes perfect sense, and because if you think about it, it's hard to imagine ever becoming strong or good at anything without going through a training camp. Going through some difficult challenges, and I think that as human beings, because we are just naturally emotional creatures and we're trying to figure out who we are, we don't always know exactly who we are. We let the world kind of tell us who we are based on what successes and failures we have. So, for example, if I go to school and I'm a little kid and I do well in math, then I think that okay, I'm the math guy. Or if I'm good at sports, I say, oh, I'm the jock. Or if I'm funny, if the kids laugh at me and at my jokes, then oh, I'm the funny kid in class, right? So we define ourselves based on how the world reacts to us. So if I say when I'm an adult and I don't really know exactly who I am, I say, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur, and then I go out and I start a business and it fails, then I'm gonna walk away. I'm tempted to walk away and say, oh, I guess I'm not an entrepreneur. I tried it and it didn't work out. When the reality is that you were given an obstacle, you were given a set of problems,
Right.
and you weren't committed enough to learn how to solve those problems. And so what helped me a lot was learning how to process failure in the way a mathematician looks at failure or looks at a problem. When I did my master's in math, you would get these really impossible problems to do, and they would take a week. It would be one problem that would take a whole week. And at the beginning of the week, you had no idea how to solve it. You were doing everything wrong. You felt confused. You felt lost. You felt like an idiot. But because you had to get it done, you didn't walk away. You kept trying. You just would keep going back to it. You take a nap, go look at it again, go to bed, look at it again, talk to your friends about it, do research on it. And every single time, the same miracle occurred. By the end of the week, you had the solution to the problem that was impossible to solve a week before. And and the thing about it is, in mathematics, when you get a problem, you don't cry about it. You
Right.
can't run away from it. You can't just give up. You have to keep trying. And I think that if we took that approach to life, a lot of us will be better people at the end of the day. What do you think?
I think that's a profound insight. It's profound because you simplified it. And that's really what profundity is, taking something complex and making it understandable by everyone. And I think you just said it in a way that everyone could understand it. But, but, but you close that question with the ultimate question. And then, Doc, what do you think?
Hmm.
This thing in our head is a brain, but it's really the most powerful computer on freaking earth.
Mhm.
And every minute of every day, Dr. Watkins, you are programming yourself by
Hmm.
what you think. One of my favorite quotes is from John Maxwell. I love John Maxwell. And it was John Maxwell who said, you are not what you think you are, but you are what you think.
Hmm.
If you think you can, you can. If you
Mhm.
think you can't, you can't.
Mhm.
If you um if you stand in front of an obstacle and you think you can't overcome that obstacle, it's your thinking. It's not really your ability to do it. If you
Mhm.
stick with it, if you stay the course, if you apply this supercomputer that God has blessed us with, where there will never be a computer that will match the capacity of the brain, you can do it, right? You can do it. You are what you think,
Mhm.
and you have a powerful brain, and you use it, and you have applied it in almost every stage of your life to achieve an education that is awesome, But beyond that education, your creative thinking, your thinking outside of the box, your ability to flex, your ability to broaden that thinking, you're a thinker. And so there's nothing that you decide that you want to do that you cannot do because you stick with problems. And life is full of problems. And that's what it is. Our whole life is overcoming obstacles and solving problems. And the better we get at that, the more we prepare ourselves, the more skills we acquire, um, the more successful we will be in life. And so I love the way you stated that. It was so eloquent and simple, and it's spot on. So kudos to you.
So thank you, and everybody who just came in, I would like for you to know who the great man is that I'm speaking with. His name is Dr. George C. Fraser. He is the author of the book "Success Runs in Our Race." He also runs the Power Networking Conference every year in Houston, or this year's in Houston. Is it in Houston every year,
It's in
Dr. Fraser?
Houston. It's in Houston. It's live. The first live one in 3 years, of which I am
Wow.
honored to say you will be doing a keynote address, and
Yes.
I'm honored. I'm honored that you we will be together live in a living color. Nothing like the human connection. Social media is wonderful, and we do a lot of stuff on social media, and we connect with people, and to some extent we bond with them, but nothing compares to the energy that comes from the human connection, breaking bread and learning and serving each other, learning from each
Yes.
other, and serving each other. So I'm excited about
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. And I'd
it.
like for you to, if you could elaborate a little more on that. One of I've learned a thousand things from you. But one of the biggest things I've learned from listening to you is how well you are at managing relationships and really seeing the value in all human beings. I remember when I met you and no one knew who I was and
Mhm.
you treated me very well back then. It was about 2005, 2006. And I never forgot that. And I noticed that you kind of have this amazing ability to connect with people and to see that value and to really understand that fundamental idea that if you're trying to be successful, wealthy, or whatever it is you want to do, um, just sort of understanding that value of those human connections goes a really long way. Can you kind of speak to that in terms of
Yeah.
your view on the human connection and why that's so important for you?
Um, Relationships are everything. I cannot overstate that. I've spent my life preaching and teaching the power and importance of the human connection. Um, you're the average of the five people that you spend the most time with. As they know and as they go, so go you. The fastest way, brothers and sisters, to change yourself is to hang out with people who are already where you want to be. What am I
Mm,
saying? I'm saying don't spend major time with minor people. People going nowhere want you to go nowhere with them. People doing nothing want you to do nothing with them. If you want to change your life, change your relationships, right? If you are not where you want to be, brothers and sisters in life, it's simply because you don't have the right people in your life. This is especially poignant and true when you select your life partner. There's
mm,
no decision more important than your life partner. Now, I've been fortunate in life, maybe even gifted. I've been married to the same sister for 50 years. I made a good choice. Were there hills and valleys and twists and turns? Yes. People ask me
wow.
all the time, Dr. Watkins, what's the key to staying married for 50 years to the same sister? And it's a simple one word answer: amnesia. You see, because in 50 years, Dr. Fraser is going to do something stupid. And in 50 years, Nora Jean Fraser is going to do something stupid. So when we do our stupid stuff, we come together, we discuss it, we reach middle ground, we bless it and release it, never to bring it up again.
Mm,
All right. I was fortunate enough to select the right business partner who died about 5 years ago of cancer, Greg Williams, of which you met. And we were together for 32 years. Well, that's like a marriage. Make no mistake about it. So The people that you partner with are critical. And and this is deeply connected to this whole idea of the human connection and how it's related to wealth and business. Genesis 1:31, and God saw everything he made, and he said, behold, it was good. There's only one time in the Bible that God was not happy with what he created, and that's in Genesis 2:18. And the Lord said, and I quote, it is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. It's the
Mm.
only time in the Bible that God was not satisfied with what he created. There is a biblical declaration in the Bible for the human connection. It is a direct quote from Jesus Christ. There are 800,000 words in the Bible. Only 1,200 words are direct quotes from Jesus Christ. John 5:30, and Jesus said, I of my own self can do nothing. Now, this was Jesus, the Son of God. He couldn't get it done on his own by himself in a vacuum. He needed at least 12 disciples, and one of them turned on him. So, what's up with you, brothers and sisters? Why do you think you could do anything significant, anything worth talking about on your own by yourself in a vacuum? You can't. We are designed as a communal people.
Mm.
Our wealth is really our connections, the people that we bond and connect and serve, and they serve us. That's really our wealth. Without them, you have no wealth. Now, let me unpack that for a second, if you'll allow me. God's love of the connection is clear, and He gave us two ways to ensure connection: sex and money.
Mm.
Now, let me unpack that. The incentive for sex, but not the goal, is ecstasy. There's nothing on earth that you can experience that will give you the ecstasy of great love. But that is not the purpose of sex. The overall purpose of sex is procreation, so that we can produce more of God's children who can serve us and we can serve them. That's the purpose. The
Mm.
second thing is money. Money is the primary incentive for service, because as you develop skills, as you grow, as you mature, as you gain wisdom, you're better able to serve people. And as you serve, you earn. If you cannot serve, if you have no skills, you cannot earn money. And, what would life look like for you in a market based economy, in a democratic capitalist society with no money? You're going to have a living hell.
Mhm.
The same as you will have a living hell if you procreate children and don't take care of them. So, Malcolm Gladwell, in his book, The Outliers, said a profound thing in his book. He said, the most common attribute of the rich are friends, contacts, and connections. He said that
Mm.
rich people have a lot of friends. And these are people that they can serve. And the more people you can serve, the more money you earn. So Beyonce has this amazing skill. Maybe it's a giftedness, but when she performs her service, she performs it in a stadium with 100,000 people, and she gets a small piece of each one of those.
Mm.
So the more the more gifts you have, the more skills that you develop, the more people that you can serve, the more money that you can earn. So what that's said another way, the measure of your wealth is other people. The human
Mm.
connection is what God wanted for all of his children, and he designed a system for us, in fact, to do that. Because without other people to serve you and you them, you have nothing. I call the human connection customer service. And
Mm.
for me,
Mm.
customer service, Dr. Watkins, is close to worship service.
Mm.
Also, many is always smarter than one. The power of connection and collaboration and doing things with each other. I've been preaching this gospel, connect the dots, leverage, so we can leverage more effectively our collective resources and intellectual capital. I've been saying this for 40 years. We make money by giving or serving, not taking. So we have to
Mm.
give until it hurts and then give until it feels good.
Mm.
If if you have nothing, it's because you've given nothing. That you cannot take out of life that which you have not put into life, just as you cannot take out of the bank that which you have not put into the bank. Go on down to Bank of America, try to take something out of Bank of America you ain't put in. Let's see what happens to you. It's the same thing.
Wow. So,
Money, and I'll finish on this point.
oh no,
Money,
please.
money is simply a verification that value was exchanged. We can call them
Mm.
by another name, certificates of appreciation. So if I consult with someone and they pay me $500 for that hour, they're really paying me 500 certificates of appreciation. That's really what it is. Your service to me, what you gave me, what you informed me about, what knowledge you gave me, this is my appreciation for that knowledge.
Mm.
We know that money alone does not make you happy. It's how you earn it and it's how you
Mm.
share it.
Mm.
And there's a deal. It's in the Bible. There's a
Mm.
deal with God that whatever money you make, you keep 90% of it and you give away 10% of it. 10% must be given away. That's the deal. As you give, you get. You ain't giving, you ain't getting. That's the
Mm.
time, right? So it's not all for you. It is to be invested and it is to help serve others. Now, you decide how you want to give it away, but it must be given away.
Mm.
God
Well, you know,
prefers God prefers equity versus debt too.
mm.
But the nature of all money, and I know I'm singing to the choir here, the nature of all money is debt converted to equity,
Mm.
right? You go into debt to buy a home, and hopefully that home becomes equity by increasing in value. You earn money to invest in a college education. And that knowledge in which you achieve or secure from that education or from building skills earns you money. It is debt converted to equity. It is not debt converted to debt. So many of us have that twisted.
Mm.
And we have to be thankful for social media. We have to be thankful for radio and television. We have to be thankful for phones and the internet. Why? Because connectivity produces growth. In other words, the more we are connected, the more people we can touch, the more people we can teach, the more people we can learn from. This is the power of the internet. Now, is there some garbage on the internet? Of course. Bless it and release it. But is there unbelievably good content that could that could satisfy an insatiable appetite for content. Yes, there's more content on social media if you're using it right than you have life to consume it.
Mm.
So we have to be
Well,
wise when we're networking that social media is the mix, in the
mhm.
mix. And so that's that's my gospel as it relates to that. But so networking for me as a concept or the power of the human connection. I used to call it the power of networking, and that worked for maybe 25 years. But I think I'm now reframing it, as you can see, the power of the human connection. I think that says a lot more with a little, and without it,
Yeah.
we just cannot get to where we're going. And it is through the human connection that we have been able to address the struggle, the struggle. And can I talk a minute about what I call the struggle? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, this is a sort of recent revelation for me. I'm telling you, as you grow older, you grow wiser. As you read more, I read about 100 books a year. I know you read. I'm in my office right now, and that's my little library in my office. There are 2,500 books in my library. In my
Wow.
office, there are 15,000 books in my home. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying the average American only reads one book a year. If we make a commitment to read one book a month, in 5 years, you will have read 60 books, and the average American will have only read five. You're going to be smarter. And again, I'm
Mm.
saying it to the choir. I'm saying, brothers and sisters, read. You know the old saying, the old trope about us. If you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, the struggle. Brothers and sisters, we must all remember that we are drinking from wells that we did not dig, that we are
Mm.
standing on the shoulders of giants, a
Right.
350-year fight for our freedom, a 250-year fight for, for freedom itself from slavery from 1619 to 1864. 250 years, 12 generations fought and died to get us free. Then another 100-year fight from 1864 to 1964 for civil rights, voting rights, and public access, of which boomers are responsible for. So the question becomes, and it's a rhetorical question, are we worthy of that legacy? 350-year fight. Are we worthy of that? And if you feel that we're worthy of that, the deeper question is, what then will be the legacy of Generation X, Y, Z, and Generation Alpha? What will our children's children be saying about them 150 years from now? Now, Boomer, our legacy is set: civil rights, voting rights, and public access. That's our legacy. But what about X? What will be their legacy? We cannot allow our legacy to end with the civil rights struggle. I'm hoping that for succeeding generations, I'm praying that it will be about business development and proper wealth management,
Mm.
making money, leveraging and managing that money properly, which you do so masterfully in the lessons in which you teach every day. That's A. This is part B. In 1962, I was present at a speech given by Stokely Carmichael, who renamed himself Kwame Ture, in Harlem. Stokely was one of the lieutenants for Martin Luther King, and he was a stone cold revolutionary. But he said something at that time, I was 17 years old, that changed my life, that is now the North Star of my life. And it really is, when you hear it, is the North Star of your life, Dr. Watkins. It's one of the reasons I love you. Now, I'm not going to paraphrase this quote because it's too important. I'm going to give you the exact quote. Stokely Carmichael, 1962. You can Google it. And he said, no black person in this country makes any advancement solely based on his or her talent or worth. All individual advancement is based on mass struggle. We make no progress in this world without shedding our blood. Therefore, brothers and sisters, your advancement and success does not belong to you. It belongs to the people. And if you do
Mm.
not use your success or advancement for the benefit of your people, it is a betrayal of the people who shed their blood for you.
Mm. Wow. Wow.
Toni Morrison said it differently. She said, if you are free, you need to free somebody else. And if you have some power, your job is to empower somebody else. The great Afrocentric scholar, Dr. John Henrik Clarke from Harlem, who was the mentor to Malcolm X, said it beautifully and simply. Take what you do best and do it for your people. That's exactly right. And
Mm.
that's what we must all do. That is essentially what the Power Networking Conference is all about. It is helping you to connect, grow, and prosper so that you can learn, earn, and return. How do we do that? We train you. We train you in just three simple subjects. You spend 4 days, 12 hours a day. We cover only three things: business, starting, developing, growing, expanding a business, and money, making, managing, and leveraging and growing your money.
Mm.
Right now, we're at the bottom of every single economic statistic that matters in America. We've been here 400 years. We understand the institutional and systemic reasons why that is so,
Mhm.
but ain't nobody saving us but us, Dr. Watkins. Yes, there are issues, there are problems. White people ain't saving black people. I'm sorry. You know who white people are saving? They're saving white people,
Mhm.
right? You know who white people are thinking about? They're thinking about white people. They ain't thinking about black people. They're thinking about their husbands, their wives, their neighborhoods, their businesses, their schools, their community. That's what they're thinking about. And you can't
Mhm.
hate on them for that, by the way, because that's what the hell we ought to be thinking about.
Mhm.
That's what Asians are thinking about. In fact, if you go into an Asian restaurant in the hood and there are four brothers waiting on you, leave. That's not a real Asian restaurant. Because Asians do not employ black people, they employ Asian people. That's who they
Mhm.
employ. And again, you can't hate on them for that because that's what we ought to be doing. And they're
Mhm.
in that store because it was vacant and no one
Mm.
decided that lived in the hood that it could be a productive vacant space, that they could provide a product or service for the community and
Mhm.
employ people and earn money.
That's right.
And in many cases, when that is the case, they live in the community. Asians don't live in black communities. They don't want to live with you. They take your money. They take your money, provide you a service, and take your money, and they leave. And
Mm.
they go where other Asians live. They're not interested in living with you. And they're not interested in employing you. They're interested in serving you with a product that you like of theirs, and then they leave. We have to understand these things. And this is
Mm-hmm.
critically important. Now, I don't mean to overstate it, I just mean to emphasize it. No one's going to save us but us.
Mm.
Right? I mean, at the end of the day, I think Obama said that when he was running in 2016. We are the ones we have been waiting for. It is my prayer, I'm 77 now, that by the end of the 21st century, I won't see it, Dr. Walker, but by the end of the 21st century, that ultimately we become the number one employers of our own people. Why is it important? Because creating jobs and creating businesses is the only way to raise up the poor. And every immigrant group that has ever come to this country has understood that but us. Asians are the number one employer of Asians. East Indians are the number one employer of East Indians. Arabs is the number one employer of Arabs. Asians, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to fix that. Ain't nobody fixing that but us. Who are they
Mm-hmm.
going to employ first? You're going to employ people that look like you first, that you're most culturally comfortable with.
Mm.
That's what you're going to do.
Mm.
And then social pressure around supplier diversity and inclusion and other diversity and inclusions will put some pressure on others to do a little something, something for others that don't look like them. But they're going to do for themselves first, just as we ought to be doing for ourselves first. I didn't say only, I just said first.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it. We can do this. There are 46,
Absolutely.
there are 46 million black people in America. 46 million. I've traveled for 40 years. I have 10.5 million frequent flyer miles. And no matter where I go, Dr. Watkins, whether I travel to New York or Los Angeles, Miami or Seattle, San Diego or Maine, Kenya or Ghana, South Africa or Nigeria, Rio de Janeiro or Bahia, Jamaica or Belize, African people are the poorest people per capita wherever we are, including
Mm.
the continent of Africa, where 70% of some of the most important minerals are in the ground in sub-Saharan Africa, and we cannot even get them out of the ground.
Mm.
We must bring others in to do that. So God has given us every single thing we need to succeed as an African people. We have everything we need to succeed except each other. Jews have each other. Asians have each other. East Indians have each other. When we figure that out, when we figure how to truly collaborate and love ourselves so that we can love each other, so that we can trust each other. Let me say that a different way. When I get up in the morning and I look in the mirror, if I do not love what I see, there's no way that I could love you because you are a reflection of me. That's called low race esteem, which is fueled by low self esteem. And we
Mm.
don't understand who we are. I've said it 1,000 times that we're the children of the slaves that would not die, that we have the genetic encoding of the great kings and queens of Africa, that we were building pyramids and solving complex engineering problems when other cultures were living in caves practicing cannibalism. And in spite of the fact that everything happens for a reason and serves us in some special way, and we will never understand that reason looking forward, we will only understand it looking backwards. In spite of that fact, maybe we were not brought here. Maybe we were sent here. Do you believe that God would put his weakest people here to do his toughest job? I don't think so. How could an America who could morally, spiritually, and biblically justify the kidnapping, raping, and pillaging of another two people, natives already in America and Africans brought to America, have any moral or spiritual grounding? And perhaps had God not sent Africans here, America might have self destructed by now. We are the most morally grounded and spiritually rooted people on earth. We have an enormous responsibility. We must rekindle that responsibility. We must act on the unique power that God has given us as God's first people. As God's first people. I'm not making that up. The first human remains were found in the old Vigorge in Ethiopia 75,000 years ago, and then they dispersed from there. And if you're hanging out in Ethiopia, you're blue black. I used to wonder, this is a rhetorical question, why did God make black people first? Why us first? And then it occurred to me, he made us first because we are the only people that can produce every color.
Hmm.
Two white people cannot produce a black person. We're the only human beings with our DNA structure that can produce people of any color. And he wanted to have a world with multiple colors. Just there are flowers of multiple colors and multiple animals. He didn't want to put a singular human being of one color. He didn't roll like that. That's just my thinking.
Those dominant genes that we have. Yeah,
Absolutely. That's science.
we
I mean, we're not making that up. All right.
yeah,
There's no
we
question
make a
about
strong contribution there.
that.
When it comes to the gene pool, we kind of dominate. We're the big kids in the pool. Yeah, so I want
That's
to
right.
ask you, Dr. Fraser. So for the Power Networking Conference, what if we want to attend? What are the dates and locations?
Okay.
And I know you have a special offer. Did you want to tell us about that?
Absolutely. Now, what you heard today is an hors d'oeuvre. When you come to the Power Networking Conference, you're going to get a full menu of this and more. The great minds of Dr. Boyce Watkins, Tavis Smiley, Dr. Randall Pinkett. I can go on and on and on. Right? I don't want to spend time. You just go to the powernetworkingconference.com website, www.powernetworkingconference.com, and the entire agenda for 4 days, and everybody that all the faculty members that we call our speakers faculty, just like Harvard calls it faculty, faculty members, everybody's there. It's August the 3rd through the 7th in Houston. So if you're in Houston, you don't have an excuse. You don't have any airfare. You don't have any hotel bill. All right. So first, so this is the offer. If you go to the site, you will see that an adult registration is $1,495. We encourage every male, adult male, and female, hopefully married couple, to bring a young person. I believe that we should not be conferencing without an invitation to our young people, 17 to 25, college age. So a student registration, you look on the site, is $800. So a student and one adult is $2,300. So what I would like to do for this august audience is to take $1,700 off of that, make that package available to you, one adult and one student, 17 to 25, for $599, which is about
Mm.
what the food costs are at a five-star hotel today, the Hilton of Americas. About what the
Mm.
food costs are. Okay. I'd like to make that available to you. Now, you
That's a good
cannot
deal.
go on the website and get this deal. This is a Dr. George Fraser deal for Dr. Boyce Watkins. You have to email me personally at gfraser@frasernet.com. gfraser at frasernet.com. It's going to go up on the screen. There you go. In the subject line, I want you to put I'm in Voice Watkins. I'm in Voice Watkins. Put that in the subject line. And I'll know that you watch this presentation. In the body of the email, just put your full name and your cell number. Your full name and your cell number. One more time. Your full name and your cell number. And I will personally call you. We can chat for a moment and then we'll handle our business over the phone by credit card. That's the
Wow.
offer.
Wow.
So take
I think
advantage.
that's an amazing offer. I hope you all agree. I mean, I can tell you this: the Power Networking Conference. I've been there several times. It's amazing. I love it. And Dr. Fraser, you guys know how I feel about him. And this is a special offer he's making for you. So just to clarify that, that's from 2,500 down to 599, and that's about 76% off. And all you have to do is email him. The email address is on the screen, gfraser@frasernet.com. In the subject line, put I'm in Boyce Watkins. That way he knows it's that you're eligible for the offer. And then also in the body of the email, put your name and your cell number, and he will personally give you a call and talk to you. Did I get that right, Dr. Fraser?
That's right. That's
All
right.
right.
You will personally get a call from me. That may be worth the price of admission. I say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that is. Believe me, there's that's one valuable phone call, and I can tell you, I would encourage everybody. Everything that you said was so great, and I was just a listener. I'm a student like everybody else, and I would say that just my little 2 cents in terms of what Dr. Frazier is saying is part of that connection with people is when you're giving to others, you're really making an investment, and we know that just like in farming, you can't have a harvest if you don't plant anything. You reap what you sow. And so you usually get what you give. If you're not giving to the world, if you're not giving to yourself, if you're not giving to your future, if you're not giving to your children, then you won't get anything back. I'll give you an example, Dr. Frazier, and then I'll let you close this out here. But my parents uh, are they're in their 70s, and you're slightly older than my dad, and I think that's my dad's a strong man like yourself, and I think that's what I gravitate to: strong, smart black men. And my parents don't have to worry about anything, nothing. They want to go on a trip. My sister, my brother, and I, we have that covered. They want a new car. It's bought. It's all done. And here's the thing. So when I was a kid growing up, every single kid I played with every weekend didn't necessarily do so well in life. Every single boy maybe got locked up on drugs, got hooked on drugs, unemployed, dead. Oh, the whole gamut. And we couldn't understand. My sister and I couldn't understand how is it that we were in the middle of all this, and my sister's a medical doctor, and my brother went to Cornell, and he's a millionaire. He's doing some stuff with hedge funds now, and I'm doing what I'm doing. And we were like, how did that happen? And that led us to go back and do like a forensic analysis of just the day-to-day parenting structure in our house. It didn't come out of a textbook. It wasn't anything fancy. It was just sturdy a sturdy black couple that loved each other, that knew exactly who they were, didn't care what people thought, and really taught us the value of things like personal responsibility. That unfortunately seems a lot of people don't get that. Simple ideas: hard work, responsibility, save your money. You are responsible for your life, your future, right? So these values that they poured into us, these investments that they made in us many years ago, well, inadvertently that became their retirement part of their retirement plan. If their social security was cut off and pensions and all that, they would still live quite comfortably, because they made an investment 30, 40 years ago that is paying off today. Right. So that investment in people, it starts with everybody around you. It starts with the types of people you have in your space. And the reason I would advocate to everybody watching to consider going to your conference is because the people at the Power Networking Conference are extraordinary people. They are smart people wealthy people, intelligent people, hardworking people, builders. They love being black. It's not one of those, I remember, I'll tell you the truth. In the very beginning, I kind of wondered, is this one of those places where black people gather to talk about how white they're becoming? Or how much white people like them. White people like me now. That makes me no, it wasn't. It wasn't like that. It's very pro black. So I encourage everybody to at least take a look. And I'll repeat the instructions. Then Dr. Fraser, I'll let you close this out. If you want to take advantage of the special offer where he takes 76% off the price for you only, you can email gfraser@frasernet.com. The email address is on the screen. In the subject line, put "I'm in Boyce Watkins." You put my name up there; they'll know it's from me. And then also in the body of the email, put your name and your cell phone number, and Dr. Fraser will personally give you a call. So, Dr. Fraser, I'll let you close us out of here. I just wanted to throw that in there because I'm a big believer in what you have going on there. I think that
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I think I love your story. And I grew up in that same kind of household. Now, I was an orphan for 2 years. My mother became mentally ill when I
Mm,
was two. My father was a cab driver. There was 11 of us, 8 boys and 3 girls. He couldn't take care of 11 children. So me and my sister Emma and my younger brother Joseph were orphaned. I stayed in an orphanage until I was 5 and then put into foster care. And my foster parents were from Georgia. Hard nose, deep belief in corporal punishment, hard workers. My father was a cab driver, my foster father. And they taught us exactly what your parents taught you: personal
mm,
responsibility, the need to earn your way and earn money, hard work, excellence. If you're going to
mm,
do it right or don't do it at all. And we are giving you an assignment and you're going to do it. So you don't have a choice not to do it at all. And we will be inspecting it.
mm.
And they were hardcore about that. And my sister Emma and I used to complain, boy, when we grow up, we're never going to treat our children like this. We were totally wrong. Emma and I have had hours of conversation about our upbringing in foster care because we aged out of foster care and the work ethic and the discipline and the personal responsibility
Mm.
that it instilled in us that is still with us to this day. And so I so appreciate what you said because it sort of brought me to tears because it just harkened back to my own darn life.
Mm.
So thank you for saying that. It's the absolute truth. The big mistake that we often make, too many of us, is we want to make it better for our children. There's no question about that. The mistake that we made is that we made it easier, and easier is not better. It depends on how you manage it. And so, obstacles, discipline, work and responsibility,
Mhm.
even corporal punishment in the appropriate moments
Mm.
are all critical. Teaching respect and love, honoring your elders, being respectful of your elders. These are core values that start and keep families together. And Lord knows we need to get back to them.
Mm.
I think we're moving in the right direction. I think we're collaborating more now than ever before. Have I seen improvement? Yes, I have. No question about it. We're still a long way from where we need to go, but there has been incremental improvement. No question about it. And I love to see. I love that I'm living to see that. So there are two fundamental things that as we if we keep doing them, we will get there. Understand the power and importance of collaboration and the human connection. You don't build businesses, you build people, and people build businesses. At the end of the day, that's what your business is going to be about, right? One of the rhetorical questions I ask all the time, are you a brand or are you a logo? What's the difference, Dr. Fraser? A brand is a promise. A logo is an artistic depiction of an idea. What is your promise? Do your customers know what your promise are? Are you delivering on your promise? What is the promise of FraserNet? It's right on my wall where my logo is. I think I had a picture of it I wanted to show you, but I can't find it right now. But my promise is real simple, and it's been my promise for years and years and years and years. What is my promise? It says right under my FraserNet logo: connect, grow, and prosper so that you can learn, earn, and return. We have a lot of us learning and a lot of us earning, but not enough of us returning. And therein lies our problem. So,
Mm.
what is your brand and your promise? Have that clear in your mind. Understand you will build your life through people. That is where your wealth is. There is no other way to earn wealth other than cultivating, nurturing, and building relationships at work, at home, and in the community. That's where your power is. That's how God has designed you. Fulfill that grand design. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Looking forward to seeing all of you at the Power
Yes.
Network Conference, August 3rd through the 6th in H Town, Houston,
All
Texas.
right. All right. Well, thank you very much for this great interview, Dr. Fraser, and everybody. If you could give this brother, this extraordinary brother, a digital round of applause, a digital thank you. Let him know you appreciate him sharing the wisdom, and coming out in the community and talking with us and making us all smarter and better. If you're looking for where my professors live, you're looking at one of them right here on the screen. And also, I will be one of the speakers at the Power Networking Conference. I'm very proud to participate. And if you would like to take advantage of the special offer, he's dropping 76% off of the price of admission. You can actually you can email the email address on the screen, email gfraser@frasernet.com. And in the subject line, put "I'm in Boyce Watkins." I'm in Boyce Watkins. And also in the body of the email, put your name and your cell phone number. And Dr. Fraser himself will give you a phone call. And believe me, the phone call alone is worth it. So thank you very much, Dr. Fraser. It's great to see you again, brother, as always.
Awesome.
All
I'll
right.
see you sooner rather than later.
Yes, sir. I can't wait. I'm super excited. I'm
Okay.
bringing my wife, so we're gonna have a good time. So, and everybody else who's attending, I will see y'all there too. And I look forward to giving everybody a hug. So, God bless you.
Amen.
Take care. Love you. And I'll see you soon, sir. All right.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
All right, man. Bye bye.